Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service, real-time updates only in iOS mobile apps. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of True Crime Time for Wednesday, March 26, 2025, and I'm Woody Overton.
And I'm Cyndi Overton.
And we're back at it again, right?
Right.
Bringing you the stuff from around the world and beyond and all that good stuff. Hey, and we appreciate y'all for tuning in and listening. Thank you for liking and sharing and doing all the posts and everything else, right?
For sure.
And so that being said, the live show, I still don't know what the ticket counts are on it yet, but I know they're selling, y'all. So go to any of our social media posts, click on the live, which is Saturday, July 19th, 2025 at Southeastern Louisiana University's main campus in Hammond, Louisiana, in the main theater hall. We will be there all weekend, but that Saturday evening is the show. There will be alcohol sales and food sales ahead of time on, I think, alcohol during the show also. But it's going to be a raw, unscripted Woody Overton original, right? And the VIP reception will be afterwards. Everything's, pretty much been described. Home to Suites by Hilton, brand new property in Hammond, Louisiana. That's where we're all going to be staying at. Cyndi got a discount code for $50 off per night, and you can stay more than one night. You can stay up to 4 nights, I think, at the same price. Mm-hmm. So, you got anything?
No, I have no numbers for us yet. I have outdated numbers. I'm waiting for today's numbers to come in. But I do want to say that the information is getting out because someone saw your Dateline and could not find our information, so they just decided to call Southeastern.
Really?
Talk to Southeastern to tell them to get in touch with them.
Wow.
So
yeah, that Dateline ran again last Saturday night. I wasn't aware. It was a 2-hour special on Courtney Coco. But I was aware when my phone started going ding, 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 ding with all the families that, man, it's just unreal that the people are hurting and need help, right?
Yes.
And hashtag Justice for Haley. Y'all, we're going to be wrapping up. We have this week and then one more week and that's it. And we'll press the fight, try to get justice for Haley. As always, justice for Miss Barbara Blunt. Her murderversary is coming up the first week of May. I think it's going to be 17 years now. It's horrible.
Yes.
So somebody knows something, and one day, call in your tips. You can remain anonymous, and one day we're going to get them.
Yeah.
And just keep the faith on that. But anyway, let's get down to some true crime time for Wednesday. So I'm going to just jump right in and take over the first story. Okay. You've never been on a cruise, right?
No.
Well, they've got them everywhere. And I used to think it was the shit when, I was a young cop. We would all go on the cruises and they'd let you, the travel agent, you'd book it through. That shows how long ago it was. The internet wasn't really available. And they let you make monthly installments and stuff like that. And and we always stayed in the cheapest rooms in the interior of the ship and of course smuggled on our alcohol, what we could get away with. We knew somebody was going to get busted. But it was pretty cool because you get to go to different destinations and you never had to unpack, right? But you get people and all the food you could want. I remember I took my nephew, who's now in his mid-30s, on one of them, and that dude ordered room service like 24 hours a day, nonstop.
I would too.
I mean, it was just ridiculous. I go in his room and he had like 10 plates stacked up.
I don't know. I might think that might be you too.
Yeah, well.
He's a mini you.
Well, they even have some cruises that go out of New Orleans now. They go out of Galveston, Texas, and Mobile, Alabama, and everywhere else probably. But a lot of them still go out of the Miami area, right? The little short cruises and all that stuff. Well, people get on the cruise and a lot of them like to act a fool.
Okay. And
it's just true. It's the way that it is. And this one's a little bit different than planes, trains, and automobiles, but it is a form of transportation, being that it's a cruise ship. All right. So, people get on there and alcohol's flowing and I can tell you, like Steve-O and I, when we went, we literally partied until we were pulling into Cozumel, and they were saying we were just going to bed. They were like, passengers can get off for the day trip or whatever. And a lot of that goes on, right? And you could buy the drink pass, unlimited drinks and all that. Well, deputies with the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office got them a couple of arrests.
Okay. And
one guy was named Jose Diaz. He's 36. And the other one was Ricardo Leal, 37. And they arrested them when the cruise ship, the Royal Caribbean's Independence of the Seas, pulled into the dock on March 21st in Miami. Okay. The two men, who both are Mexican nationals, are accused of lewd and lascivious behavior with a minor and molesting a minor in connection with an incident that happened on the ship on March the 20th. Guess where it happened on the ship?
In the dining room.
Hey, I think that would be
the pool.
That'd really be fucked up. In the cruise ship sauna.
The pool sauna, yeah.
Yeah, I'd never been in a sauna on a cruise ship. But one of the men is also facing a charge of sexual battery, while the other one has another charge for not revealing.
He had a STD.
Absolutely. He had HIV.
Jeez.
Right?
Louise.
And he didn't tell the minor that.
Well, like he's going to say, hey, I got HIV and I'm
exactly.
going to.
Let me put my nastiness in you. But so the victim says the incident occurred when he found himself in the sauna with the two strangers, Diaz and Leal. He said that both Diaz and Leal began to form a sex act in front of him. Right? I guess trying to get him to join in. And then they started to perform the same sex act on him without his consent. Ultimately, they did it to him, and then they forced him to perform it on them, assuming it's oral sex.
Yeah.
I don't know that. So then they get off the cruise ship. I guess they think everything's going to be great.
I mean, what did they?
Well, evidently they're sugar-turning shit, right? So, because they got taken into custody, and the man with HIV said, fuck you, I want a lawyer. And the other dude says that the victim and the sex acts were consensual, right? Both men were denied bond at a hearing over the weekend, or being held in custody with an immigration hold. So that's just a little quick shorty.
Yeah.
If you're in a cruise ship, I mean, do you think that actually works out for people sometimes?
Apparently.
Okay, just you give me a blowjob in front of this stranger, and I'll give you one, and we'll see if we get them to join in.
Well,
and it's a kid.
You always say, if someone's like a pick, whatever it is, if they score once out of 100 tries, whatever.
Yeah, right. The one
like,
out, if you try it 100 times,
they might have sat in there all day doing their shit, waiting for someone.
Maybe I might have to research that. I haven't been on a cruise in probably 20 years, but
let's go do some R&D.
No, I was talking about the cruise ships. I know they're hookup stuffs, but maybe the sauna is like the glory hole on the cruise ship.
There's a bunch of gyms in like Los Angeles that are closing the sauna part of the gym because it has become
people having sex.
Uh-huh.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, you never think about it, but people are going to have sex no matter
I said
what.
Los Angeles because I heard about it from a story of Los Angeles. It could be everywhere.
Back in the 80s and 90s, they used to have bathhouses, and that's where people would go, like a Russian bathhouse or whatever, and they'd go in there and do it. I mean,
I think that was kind of like a known thing, though. Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure if you're on the rural Caribbean, I don't know.
I have Tracy went and got a massage in Wisconsin. She had quite an experience. She thought that she was going to get what do you call
a happy ending.
A happy ending.
Oh
she was doing everything she could to avoid that. She was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then
I don't know about.
And then Shane went with her to get a pedicure, and the same masseuse asked him if he wanted a massage, and he's like, "No, that's okay.
No, I'm good. I'm good."
I'm good.
That dude was trying to give it a deep tissue massage, huh?
Real deep tissue. Well,
all right, what do you have for us? We're going across the pond?
Yeah.
It's time for worldwide crime. What you got?
So we're going to the French Alps.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And on July 8th, 2023, there was this young boy, Emile Soleil.
Okay.
He's very French, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's walking the streets.
Probably Soleil.
Soliel.
I don't know. I was just making it up.
Soleil is like sun.
I really was just teasing. I was making it up. I was trying to interrupt you.
So two neighbors report seeing this boy walking alone around 5:15. And I think maybe more than reporting should have been done. This little boy was 2 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
In the French Alps.
Mm-hmm.
By himself.
By himself. He went to stay the summer with his maternal grandparents.
Okay.
And so he was there. He was visiting. I would love to go and spend the summer in the French Alps with anyone, right?
Okay.
I think that'd be pretty cool. But at 5:15, when the neighbors, reported seeing him and walking alone, they decide the grandparents, apparently they put in a search. They couldn't find him ever again. So there was like volunteers, helicopters, drones, search dogs, and no sign of the toddler ever came up.
But how did a 2-year-old get away from the grandparents and go walking in the Alps?
Well, listen to the story. So 9 months later, there's a hiker. So in March of 2024, a hiker discovers a small skull.
That's what happens usually during the beginning of every hunting season, or, people out in the woods picking berries or hiking or camping or whatever. They find dead people.
And he found the skull. And of course, in the skull is some teeth, right?
Right.
So they send it off to have DNA testing. And it is confirmed that it is definitely Emile, the 2-year-old. Wow. So then more searches happened, and then they found additional bones.
Yes, because the animals scatter out the bones.
And clothing scattered. And despite all of those findings, the cause of death remained undetermined, and which, of course, left the community.
Kind of hard to do when you don't have anything.
Right. And it left the community, of course, just with tons of questions. Who did this? Right. Obviously, they're concerned for them, right. So the case took a significant turn, though, in March of 2025. Mm-hmm. And authorities arrested Emile's, guess who?
Grandparents.
That's right. Philippe and Anne Vedovini, along with 2 of their adult children, on suspicion of voluntary homicide and concealment of a corpse. The arrest followed months of investigation, including forensic examination and the analysis of previously unheard phone calls.
Uh-oh.
Searches were conducted at the Vedovinis. That's kind of fun to say, Vedovini.
It reminds me of Vienna sausage.
Okay. But searches were conducted at their primary residence, as well as other locations connected to the family. And that's where we're at. So with that, the arrest and everything, they're waiting for trial, and, at least there's some kind of closure that they have connected them to this little boy's case, but we don't know why. We don't know how.
Whatever the phone calls are. I don't know what the rule is on that. How do you get a search warrant for somebody's phone calls? That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Bad for the baby. But, I gotta ask, does France have the death penalty? Did you know there's an online cannabis company that ships federally legal THC right to your door? And they found a way to combine THC with carefully selected functional ingredients to target nearly every mood and health concern you can think of. I'm talking about Mood.com's incredible line of functional gummies. And you can get 20% off your first order at Mood.com with promo code RLRC. Forget one-size-fits-all supplements that only get you high. Mood's functional gummies are optimized to kick in as little as 15 minutes and take you to the mood that you're looking for. Whether that's Mind Magic gummies for deep work and creativity, PMS support to ease cramps and balance mood swings, or their sexual euphoria gummies to help you feel ready for action and turn every touch into a full body experience. Look, y'all, I have trouble sleeping. I take the Sleepy Time gummy. I take a quarter of one before I go to sleep, and I sleep hard all night long. Never even move, wake up feeling fresh as a daisy. So listen, you can find gummies to just get you high pretty much anywhere these days. But Mood's functional gummies combine premium federal legal THC with targeted botanicals to help you get into that perfect mood, usually in as little as 15 minutes. And everything ships discreetly right to your door. No dispensary lines, no awkward conversations, just better days and nights delivered to your doorstep. Best of all, not only is every Mood product backed by a 100-day satisfaction guarantee, but as I mentioned, listeners get 20% off their first order with code RLRC. So head to Mood.com, find the functional gummy that matches exactly what you're looking for, and let Mood help you discover your perfect mood. And don't forget to use promo code RLRC when you check out to save 20% on your first order. We all know I love me some tacos. They're great every night of the week, not just Taco Tuesday. But Cyndi really wants me to eat healthier this year, and Factor chef-made gourmet meals have made eating well easy. Factor arrives fresh and fully prepared, perfect for my busy lifestyle. With 40 options across 8 dietary preferences on the menu each week, it's easy to pick meals tailored to your goal. Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or Keto, Factor has it all figured out. My favorite meal has been the jalapeno sweet corn polenta and chicken. Imagine a whole chicken breast marinated in lemon juice, garlic, and smoked paprika, grilled until juicy and topped with a zesty salsa verde. It's served over a creamy Parmesan polenta loaded with diced jalapenos, corn, mozzarella, and scallions. Bell peppers, red onions, and cauliflower are served on the side with fajita spiced butter. It was delicious and nutritious. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/factorpodcast and use Factor Podcast to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code FACTORPODCAST at factormeals.com/factorpodcast to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box.
I found this on the web.
Capital punishment in France voted as a constitutional amendment by the Congress of French Parliament in 19 February 2007, simply stated no one can be sentenced to death penalty. Okay, well, that's unfortunate for that baby because they deserve to die, right? So there you have that. Well, let's go to Hawaii.
Okay.
And you and I got to go with Shane and Tracy and went to Maui, beautiful place and all that. Don't need to go back. But, it's still a popular destination for people from America to go hang out on the islands, right?
Yeah.
And a doctor is one of the people who like to go. And he brought his wife with him. And, they were just having a good time and they're in the prime of their lives and all that good stuff. Well, they were on Oahu, Hawaii, right? Mm-hmm. They were just hiking along and there's a trail and, it's a lot, very mountainous. Like I got us stuck on the side, me and Shane stuck on the side of the mountain in a minivan that said, do not drive down here. And I did it anyway. Story for another day. But the doctor and his wife, they were hiking and his wife. Almost
pushed.
He tried to.
Oh my God! Tried to.
The doctor in Hawaii is under arrest after police say he struck his wife with a rock and then tried to push her off a cliff. You know why?
She didn't make him breakfast.
No, because she didn't want to take a picture with him.
What?
Yep. So they haven't released her name. But she survived the Monday, March the 24th attack in Ohio, however you say it, y'all.
Oh.
But she's in critical condition, and this according to Honolulu PD. Now, the cops arrested Gerhard Koenig, and he's an anesthesiologist in Maui. Evidently, they live there, but he's from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He ran like a little bitch, but he didn't get far. And the cops got him after the brief pursuit. Now, the cops say that Koenig, who's 46, attacked his wife, who's 36, after she reportedly refused to take a photo with him. In response, Koenig attempted to throw her off a hiking trail and struck her in the head with a rock. She suffered multiple injuries to her head and face as a result. And during the incident, Koenig allegedly attempted to poke the woman with 2 syringes. What? This is all according to Hawaii News Now.
Knock her out.
And anyway, the couple were at Pali Lookout area, which stands at an elevation of 1,200 feet. So she had a way to fall. And it has winds so strong that one can lean against the wall of the wind. This is according to the Division of State Parks.
I don't think I trust that.
So, she fell a little bit. She didn't fall far, but they said it's not immediately clear how far she had fallen. But Koenig is a partner at the anesthesia medical group in Maui, and he has since been suspended from practice pending the investigation. He's also a former attending anesthesiologist at Women's Hospital under the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine, and his charges are pending. Now, I'm pretty sure I've heard some lame ass excuses why you want to kill your wife. Yeah, I mean, beat her in the head with a rock, you brought a syringe or syringes hiking with you, filled God knows what, to do whatever, maybe inject her and then shove her ass off when she's loopy. Mm-hmm. But I did it because she refused to take a photo with me. That's not going to fly.
No,
that's not
it
gonna
could have been she looked at me wrong. It could have been she said green. Like, he went up there with the intent.
He probably had the intent of saying that, back up to the edge. I want to get a picture in the edge. And when she gets back to the edge, you run up and shove her and push her off. But maybe she was a little bit wise, just playing, and instead she got a rock to the head. And then he was going to shove her off. But thank God she's alive. All walks of life. We do not discriminate on bad people on this show. You could be the doctor or whatever.
Yeah.
The janitor. Doesn't matter.
No. An anesthesiologist to a zoologist. A to Z. We got them covered.
A to Z. We do not discriminate. We will tell you about the bad people.
I'm going to hit the letter T now.
T for Tesla?
No, I got that too, but no. T
What?
for with the other one you were going to say. I think the first one that came to your head.
Theologist?
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were going to say teacher.
No, I'm sure there's plenty of teacher shit to go around.
What's the weirdest, what's the longest you've ever held your urine? You've had to go potty, or you had to urinate. Can't talk like a mommy on here.
I don't potty.
You had to pee.
Right.
How long did you hold that?
I don't know, because we used to play, we still do sometimes, play drinking games where you empty your bladder before you start drinking, and then you start drinking, and we call it breaking the seal. Mm-hmm. And whoever breaks the seal first is the loser. And I have no idea how long it is, but it's been a significant amount of time. But probably, you got to factor in that you're drinking. I don't know. Yeah,
factor in your drinking. Probably, and you and Dad did that for hours.
Yep,
you and I used to do it at
6-7 hours.
Yeah. Right. Okay. And so then, where is the weirdest or the most awful place you've ever gone potty, urinated where you should not have?
On myself.
In public.
I don't know. I wouldn't answer that if I did know.
Okay. Well, we have a teacher.
I peed all over in public, to be honest with you.
I know. I've been with you. I just didn't know if Swim wanted to talk.
Yeah.
It was okay.
I can't think of anything. You caught me cold on that one.
Okay. Well, on Monday morning, March 18th of this year, Wilson Elementary School teacher in Phoenix, Arizona, he was with his students in this it's an elementary school, but it has 6th grade. Math teacher. 3 of his students started hearing a water sound, like the sound of liquid falling. Mm-hmm. And they start looking around and they see their teacher with his penis out, peeing into a garbage can.
Nice.
They see his penis.
Yeah.
And other students see his penis.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you pee in the garbage can in the classroom.
Right?
Right.
So by mid-morning, 3 students made their way to the principal's office to tell the principal, Malachi Wajcicki, that they had seen the teacher urinating in the classroom. Mr. Hinton was seated at his desk, urinating into a can, and they could see his genitals. He was not behind a partition or shielded in any
don't make a fucking, you
way.
don't pee in your classroom, period, even if nobody's in the classroom.
So police were called immediately, and then a 4th student came forward with a similar story. So investigators from the Phoenix Police Department visited the classroom and confirmed that Hinton's desk was indeed exposed in ways that students could easily see what was going on beneath it. And when they interviewed Hinton, he did not deny going to how can he deny going to the restroom, urinating in his classroom?
Can't wait to hear this excuse.
He admitted to it, and this is what he said. He said that he had to go badly, and he didn't know of any other teachers at the school to ask for a break. He defaulted to what he said he learned during his military service. When you can't leave your post, you improvise. He claimed he tried to be discreet, using his hand to shield himself, and he didn't think any students had seen anything inappropriate.
Whatever.
But police weren't convinced. Hinton was arrested and charged with 4 counts of indecent exposure.
What a freaking idiot.
So of course I was a teacher, and
do what our teachers used to do and say, okay, Woody, you monitor the class. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
You can't do that anymore, but we always have a buddy teacher, and those buddy teachers do what they do, or you have a bell that rings every 50 minutes to every hour and a half, and you run in between classes just like your students do to go to the restroom.
Okay.
I'm just no excuse.
I don't understand. And this one's going to upset a lot of people. It's time for Beast Mode. We do some crazy Beast Mode stories. Mm-hmm. All right. And y'all stay tuned on Real Life, Real Crime, because we're about to take up, I believe, if it's in the works. You know, I do LOPA, Louisiana Organ Procurement Agency, and I'm about to take up human sex trafficking. And that's to come. As one of our, causes. Yeah. And we have a lady who was trafficked that's going to be on the show and everything else and all that.
And she's doing great things.
Yeah, she's doing great things now, but she helps people that have been sex trafficked, right? But more on that to come. But my other cause that's really near and dear to my heart right now is what?
Dementia?
Dementia.
Yeah.
All right. Dementia is horrible.
Yes.
Absolutely horrible. And I won't get into it for personal reasons, but it's just nothing nice about it. And it's just absolutely horrible. And when when you're going through it, and like I said, it's like a homicide or migraine, and everybody knows what it is until you go through it, right? Well, I'm going to tell you about this 76-year-old that had dementia and required 24-hour care, and we're dealing with that now. They have a woman. We're going to Colorado, by the way. Colorado. They have a woman in Colorado who's facing a criminal negligence charge and more than 50 counts of animal cruelty. You know why? Because her own mama, gave birth to her, spit her out, has dementia, right? And she leaves her mama, who has the dementia, home alone.
And beats animals.
No, she left. The girl left. Mama has dementia. She's home alone. Yeah. And I said home alone. I'm sorry. Home alone without any other human beings. And there were dozens of loose and caged dogs. You can see where this is going. So the daughter's name is Jessica Hoff. She's 47. And they arrested her on Friday, March the 21st, because her mama, 76-year-old Levon Hoff, got murdered. All right. In Escort, Pueblo County Sheriff's Office. Deputies said they were sent to the mom and daughter's home in Colorado City on February 3rd after receiving a report about an unconscious woman. And when they got there, they found several dogs running around the house and then another approximately 24 dogs and 7 birds in cages in the house. So, of course, the deputies got there and they see it and they call in medical, and medical personnel got there and they pronounced Miss Levon dead at the scene. Of course, took her in for an autopsy, and autopsy comes back and says she died from injuries from the dog attacks.
Jeez.
It was amazing, right? And not amazing, but I just can't imagine.
Unbelievable. Right.
So it said Levon Hoff reportedly had dementia and required 24-hour care. And Jessica left her mom home alone to run errands in Pueblo, which is about 25 miles away from the house. Detectives said they searched for another Colorado City property owned by Jessica where they found 54 dogs and 7 birds in her possession. They said the dogs and birds were found living in unsanitary conditions, and several of the dogs were in poor health. And the sheriff's office worked with animal law enforcement to seize the dogs and the birds. But sheriff's office also added that Jessica has officially been charged with criminal negligence, which resulted in the death of an at-risk adult, as well as 54 counts of aggravated cruelty of animals. In the court records, which were retained by people, says she has been booked into the Pueblo County Jail and a bond set at $50,000. Now let's talk about this. Who in the fuck needs 54 dogs and 7 birds?
I mean, they don't say anywhere that she was a rescuer. I mean, she, you know.
I don't know. I guess people hoard different things, but.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service, real-time updates only in iOS mobile apps. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.
You got to know your dog's got some tendencies, whatever breed it may be, whatever it is. You leave it home with, I don't know where the 24-hour care person was, or maybe she was supposed to, that was her shift of the 24-hour care. But when you're in that stage of dementia, I mean, come on, man, you know, it's just bad, but I can't imagine not being in your right mind because your brain is sick from the dementia, whether you're hallucinating and the paranoia and all the different things. And there's obviously people have different types of dementia. I'm talking about what we know, and you seeing things and all this stuff that's very real for them in their brain. And then she gets eaten to death by dogs.
And Jessica didn't kill her and leave her there to be eaten by the dogs to conceal anything. That, you know, no, I would have much rather that than getting mauled to death alive by dogs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
hopefully the mom was so far gone dementia-wise, she didn't, I can't say she didn't remember it because she ended up dead. I mean, just just wild. I mean, the negligence part, I'm sure the daughter feels bad about it, but she should have known. Otherwise, they wouldn't have charged her, right? So, yeah, you know, you got problems with your dogs and what have you. That, like, negligent homicide in the state of Louisiana is when a person shows such lack of care for another human being that a reasonable person would have shown. That lack of care results in this person's death. That's what she's charged with.
Well, I'm in somewhat sane mind, and I wouldn't want to be in a room with all of those dogs.
Yeah.
And be able to hopefully try to protect myself. And I can't imagine having dementia and frail and not having any.
And it's not like these dogs were well taken care of. They're
going to feed in frenzy.
Deplorable conditions and everything else.
Yeah.
So there you go. Hate it for that lady. And I'm sure the girl had no intention that her dogs were going to eat her mama, but they did. But the dementia part just fucked me up.
I guess so. Well, I might be able to lift your spirits a little bit.
All right, try that.
We've got a solved cold case.
Yay.
Yeah,
I love
right?
when a cold case gets solved.
So, is it Minot, M-O-N-O-T, North Dakota?
Close enough for me.
Okay. So in the summer of 2007, June 3rd, in Minot, North Dakota, there was an 18-year-old Anita Knutson found dead in her off-campus apartment. She was described as being bright, kind-hearted. She was a student at Minot State University, and her brutal murder shook the community. She was stabbed twice in the chest as she laid in her bed, and the crime scene showed no signs of forced entry. A screen had been cut out from the bedroom window, possibly showing how the killer either got out or got in, or both. But there was no suspects.
Sometimes they cut a screen just to throw them off where they did get in and make it look like 4th century.
Right. Well, very true.
It's really somebody that had entry.
And when you hear this, that's probably so. No suspects and no arrests were made at all. 15 years go by, and there was many interviews done. There was DNA testing. The investigation continued until it was just basically cold. And Anita's family continued to wait. They were hoping for justice.
That's so we'll talk about that real quick. So many people, like all these people that reached out to me this week after the Dateline, they are, like Miss Stephanie did and the Bouchers and all of them did. They just want to believe that the case is going to get solved, want to believe that they probably never had any interaction with the cops in their entire lives, right? And want to believe that this is going to be the priority. This is going to get solved, and they're going to do everything they can. And I'm sure they were told that. Yeah. But you know what? You only do so long, and the other bodies are going to hit the ground, and other cases are going to come up, and it's sad, but that's just the way that it is. And
detectives and investigators move, like they go to different departments, or
people retire.
Yeah, they retire. Like it just kind of. There's no excuse, but it happens. But finally, in March of 2022, police arrested someone.
Good.
And they arrested a woman named Nicole Rice.
Right.
Well, as you alluded to earlier, Nicole was Anita's roommate.
There you have it.
And back in 2007, the two had shared the small apartment while attending college. And there was stories.
Nothing kills a friendship faster than being a roommate.
Right. And there was stories of you always say roommates.
Yeah, you shared my food.
Right.
And, whatever you went in and borrowed my clothes when I just washed my clean clothes. Motherfucker, what are you doing wearing my shirt?
Exactly. Yeah. Stuff like that. And there was stories of minor tensions between them, like an unplugged fish tank, an alarm clock that wouldn't stop going off. You would murder someone over an alarm clock.
I can't stand an alarm clock.
If that alarm clock goes off the first second, I'm out the bed with that thing turned off.
I set mine all the time, but I never have to hear it. I always wake up a couple minutes before it goes off.
You do. You really do.
My mama told me that when I was young. I had the camp on Falls River, and I was so eager. I'm talking about 5-6 years old. I was so eager to get up and go fishing right before daylight. Yeah. Because we'd go to, I think it's called the West End Bakery, and get the French bread and come back while it was still dark. And being a little OCD head that I was, and Mom was like, all you got to do is say over and over again in your brain what time you want to wake up, and you'll wake up at that time. And damn it, that I've been using it the rest of my life.
You have. Yeah. You really always do. So there was just like stories like that, and nothing that, anybody would ever think would lead to murder.
Right.
But police now believe, obviously, something more happened, some type of argument, a moment
Maybe
of
she slept with
rage.
her boyfriend or something.
Something like that. So Nicole Rice was finally arrested. She's married now, so she goes by Thomas. But she pleaded not guilty. Mm-hmm. But part of the answers lie with a television show called Cold Justice.
Yeah, I like the show. That's where if I'm not mistaken, it's where the former prosecutor goes to these different places. She spends 7 days or 1 week, and she brings her top investigators with her, and they reenact the scene, and they go through, and they've actually solved a lot of cases.
Mm-hmm. I've watched that with you a little bit. And so they went to Minot to film an episode and help dig deeper into the case. And their involvement seemed to reignite momentum. And that led to Rice's arrest literally shortly after they wrapped filming. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
So fast forward now to March of 2025, and Nicole Rice is now 37 years old and finally on trial. The prosecution says that they will show that Rice killed her roommate in a moment of rage. And
I guess
literally
in the opening statements of the trial, they're laying out what they're going to do.
And they literally are thinking that the alarm clock was the major cause of it. And that was the moment that Rice snapped and stabbed Anita in
how the hell
chest.
do they know that if she's not talking?
The defense says that theory is, ridiculous, but that's just what they threw out there, like you said, in opening statements.
She must have told somebody that. They had to. I hadn't seen that episode of Cold Justice, but they'll go and interview people. And, it's I can't say you're at an advantage coming in on a cold case, but if you have the experience and all the case file and everything, you can, certainly armchair quarterback it and find things that they miss. But what they do on this show, they go out and try to find all these witnesses all these years later. And probably somebody said, oh yeah, well, you know what? She told me one night she was all fucked up and she told me the alarm clock went off.
Well, and there's two key witnesses, Christina Holler, who was Rice's friend. She testified back in 2012 that Rice confessed to her.
There you go.
And the girl says, I'm not 100% word for word, Holler told the court. But she said she got into an argument with Anita and stabbed her. She said the fight was over that same alarm clock.
Yeah.
And she later reported the confession to the police. And then a man, William May, who briefly dated Rice, told the jury that she confessed to him back at a party in 2008.
There you go. And Venus is Veritas, right? So she gets wasted and spills the beans, if you will. And you know what? You're not going to say that. You're not going to say that even in jest. I mean, unless you did it. Like, whatever. Her alarm clock was going off, so I murdered her ass.
Yeah. Just kind of reminded a few different things, someone so close to her, right? The confessions.
Right.
It reminded me of Courtney.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm glad they solved it, and I hope they get the conviction. But you know what? Even if they don't get the conviction, which they probably will, then they went for it. Mm-hmm. Right? And if you got nothing else, and you know what? Here's an example of Haley's case. They know this show is going to be, so this show at the very end, they'll send the detectives in while they wait in the car to talk with the DA, and they present the evidence, and they come back on and say whether the DA is going to indict or not. Mm-hmm. And I can think of no more damning aspect than you found two witnesses after all these years that she said, hey, I did it. Mm-hmm. And it's powerful.
Yeah.
And even in Courtney Coco's trial, the people he told that he did it, some of them, were questionable, what have you, of character. Like the one guy was homeless and they had to find him in St. Louis or somewhere. and he was in custody when they brought him in, and he got up there and he said, he told me he did it. And the lawyer was, the defense lawyer was accusing him of being a drug addict or whatever. He said, you look like you on drugs. And back to it. And then he turned to David Anthony Burns. He said, bitch, why don't you be a man and tell these people what you told me, that you murdered her. Yeah. And so kudos for them on solving a cold case.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And a lot of times they don't, less than 1% ever get solved, but the good deal. And we love to see justice being served. Yeah. Serve that justice. And there's that. Yeah. And there you have it. And that's all we have. Y'all go get your tickets while they last. Saturday, July 19th, live on the stage, VIP event to follow. And Hammond's such a great town.
It is.
Or city. And some of the best food and local hole in the wall dives. And we'll have all the restaurants and everything listed, the best places. I'm not, of course, you can go to the ritziest, but I like the hamburger joints and the cold beer places and what have you. So
I had a call with Tangipahoa Tourism yesterday, and Michelle and Ashley are helping us. They are doing twofold for us. They're doing a map of the town with all the different places to go, but then for our more younger generation that likes to do things on their phone, they're going to do where you scan a QR code and go to everything.
Cool.
So
I still haven't figured out how that works.
They're working with us and really trying to help make it.
Yeah. And of course, the people, shout out Crystal Harrison and all the staff at Southeastern. They're amazing. Yeah. So, but I can promise you this, they won't be there for long. In I think 3 months plus what we gave y'all to get them, meaning advanced time, but, because people schedule vacations and shit like that. And so, but it's going to be a hell of a great night and weekend. We can't wait to see y'all there. And that's all I have for today. And I'm Woody Overton.
I'm Cyndi Overton.
We'll holler at y'all later. Peace.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 300 programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service, real-time updates only in iOS mobile apps. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.